This is very informal, everyone. Thank you for coming. If you'd like me to go over anything, just let me know. That's my name. I work for ToooAir. I was telling the last people that were here, I've been doing this since 1980, so it's been a long time. And back then there was nothing. There was just two-way radios. Now there's a lot more options, and it's a good thing with what we offer. Running on the back of the Telstra data network, it's a very cost-effective way of getting communications throughout your organisation. So let's get started. We're an Australian company. We've been going for probably about 10 years, and I had a little bit to do with them in the early days here in Melbourne with their gear. You can abbreviate it as PTT or POC, but essentially it's push-to-talk over cellular. So the act of pushing a button sends it out over the network like a two-way radio. Just go back to the original traditional style radios, known as LMR, Land Mobile Radio, or Public Mobile Radio, Private Mobile Radio. Generally, they rely on, you can have one-to-one comms, which is probably about 2 or 3K, as you would know with CB, or you can put a repeater up on a hill somewhere, which will extend you, 20, 30K maybe, but generally a limited area. You do need a license to run on your private channels, and you need a bit of power to get those distances, generally about 5 watts for a portable, 25 watts in a car. Obviously a car's going to go a bit better, but the 5 watts is about the maximum you can really have with a portable without sort of impacting the battery life too much, because it's drawing a bit of current. So the downside is you really don't get an awful lot of battery life out of a 5-watt portable. The other thing is the radios themselves are starting to get quite expensive now. You'd know the brands that are out there: Motorola, Kenwood, Tate, all of those places. It's an expensive business making a two-way radio now. If you do want wide area coverage, you're up for some relatively high network expenses, either to use someone else's system and even more so if you decide to put your own system in. In fact, an interstate system is prohibitive for everyone except the government. The government does have their own network for police, fire, ambulance, and that's not available to the general public. So you've got some fairly expensive expenses to get wide area coverage. So that's where PTT-OC comes in. Effectively, we've got 8,300 repeaters, probably more now, and we cover all the populated areas and the roads leading to those areas in Australia, down in Tassie as well. And I'll just give you a demo now. I tried this one before. I'm going to call up my friends in Sydney. ToooAir Melbourne calling ToooAir Sydney for a radio check. Over.
Got you loud and clear here in Bondi Junction, Mike.
Roger, thank you. So
very boring, Mike.
There you go. There's all
Got you loud and clear, Mike. Yeah, Bondi Junction.
Roger. Thanks, everybody. So that's how quick it is. I just spoke to Steve in Port Macquarie and Peter up in Bondi Junction. It's nice and clear. It's running on the 4G system. That's a group call, as you heard, because Steve piped up as well. So we've set this up as this is our company group chat. That's the advantage over your normal cellular phone. Cellular phone is one-to-one. This is one-to-many. But I'll get into that a little bit later. There we go. So the features that we offer is your broadcast or your group calls, which is one-to-many, and then your private individual calls one-to-one. With this microphone here, I can actually make one-to-one calls, 3-digit dialing, if I want to. Otherwise, you can just save them into your menu here and call them up. Select them on the display and call people individually that way. The other thing that we have available is the dispatcher console, which I'll show you later. That provides you with a whole lot of extra features. That gives you the GPS tracking, logging, voice log recording. You can stun the radio if you want to. If the radio gets stolen, you can stun it over the air, and then that will need to be sent back to our factory to be reflashed. Text messaging is available, and some of these radios will do text to speech. So when you send a text to the radio, it'll turn it into an audio message. So that's the part one. The other thing we offer is SOS. So there's a button you can set, and it'll lock the microphone on for 30 seconds, send you a special alert with your location. So if you're a security guard and you're in trouble, or if you've crashed the car or something like that, you can send an SOS function out over the network. There's another feature called lone worker timers. So for people that are working on their own, you have to sort of check in over. You can set the times when you call in basically. Let's say it's 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes you've got to hit a button. If you don't hit that button, then an SOS call will be generated on your behalf. So it's just a bit of safety there. Geofencing is a method of setting an area on a map, and you can have when you enter that area or when you leave that area, you can have the system send an alert, and the alert goes out to all the people in your group. So you could even put that, if you had a radio and it's say like a digger or a tractor or something, and someone stole it, the minute it moved out of that area, then obviously if the power's got to be connected to it, but that would send an emergency calls out to your team. Call hierarchy is basically just the priority calls. You can have the boss with the master control. So what happens if there's an existing call that's already in progress, you can have a person that can override those calls. It's useful for some people, for some organisations. They want to have, if there's an emergency or something, you'd want to be able to cut across everybody so that everyone hears you. You can set waypoint markers up, but just with the lats and longs on it. Temporary call select, group select. You can set up just a temporary calls for a particular group of users for a day, and then you revert to your standard group later after the time period's up. And the other thing is you can you can select an area where the user, as soon as they enter that area, they enter a particular talk group. Another handy thing, if you've got multiple talk groups, you can get it to do that automatically. The other thing the radios will do, if you don't answer the call, it'll come up as a missed call alert. So it beeps, tells you who called you, and it'll beep. Useful in vehicles, if you're leaving your radio to go get some petrol or something. You come back to the car and it's beeping, and you can see who's called you. You can, if they leave it, you can actually listen to the message if they've left a message for you. But most people will just hit the button, call the person back that was trying to get hold of them. And another useful feature, it comes up with the display of the person calling and the group that you're in, and the username. And I'll show you later, but we've got a full video calling capability now, and there are apps available for your mobile phones for either iOS or Android. And the other really good thing about all of these changes, they're all dynamic. as long as the radio's turned on and it's in cellular range, you can make changes. You just send it out and away you go. So, are there any questions about that? So in the old days with the radio, if you wanted to change something, you had to bring it back to the office and get it all hooked up to the computer. Now you can do it all over the air. Markets, target markets, these are just sort of some vertical markets that we've been successful in. Transport, obviously. There's a little article there on a towing company that is using our equipment. Very popular with towies, because in the old days the towies would use a radio channel and everyone used to listen to it, so they knew where all the crashes were and everyone knew what everyone was doing. With this, no one knows. It's your own group. Plus you get the advantage of the long, the wide area coverage. So there's a list of transport. Construction, it's very popular with the cement trucks, because of the GPS location. You can tell where the truck's, how long it's going to be to get to the job, and you can direct the trucks in the yard which ones you want to get loaded with concrete and all the. You can do all your yard duties over the system as well. Security, probably sports events would be the most one of them, and it's not in there, but the guard tours of properties, just making sure that there's no one breaking into them, that sort of thing. So factories, I suppose, is what you call it. Factory, looking after the security for the factories. Hospitality, again, shopping malls, anywhere where there's cell phone coverage. And then with your manufacturing, generally areas where you say you've got two factories, maybe not even in the same physical location, you can talk between the two and coordinate in that way. And farms as well. Some of the bigger farms there, that's how you do your comms. Obviously, you will need a cellular signal, and so we were talking before. We do have interfaces available for Starlink now. We just did some tests in Queensland. The Android devices have all got Wi-Fi on them, so the Starlink actually has a Wi-Fi hub you can connect to. So you can set these up just to talk through the Wi-Fi and then out over the onto the internet that way.
With the mining situation, how would that sort of go under it? Like someone's really deep underground in the mine, how would they...
Well, you'd need probably one of those, a cell-fi or a Wi-Fi. I think a lot of them put Wi-Fi under the ground now. Okay. I mean, they run a lot of equipment under there and a lot of computers. That'll work. But yeah, it's obviously you're not gonna pick up anything that's on the surface unless you have a link going in there.
So these are working over Wi-Fi signals?
They can, yes. Wi-Fi as well as cellular.
So it's only 4G?
Yes, both. The Android ones. Okay, so this one, and there's a few others. I'll show you them later that'll do Wi-Fi. Right, so that's sort of a rough picture of the products that we've got available. We've got a new mobile, and I'll show you that in a sec. But generally, we've got a range of portables and mobiles for most applications, including this. This is our new camera phone. I'll show you them all working in a minute. So they're all run 4G and 4GX. I think you probably know 3G is going to be finishing up the end of the month. So we're just supplying them all locked on 4G now. The SOS function lock has got the hot mic capability, so it puts the microphone on for 30 seconds. So you can actually, all you need to do is just push that button, the alert goes out, and then you can start talking. So if you've hurt yourself and you can't push the PTT each time, then you get 30 seconds of microphone that you can explain what's going on. And this call alert, like I said before, it'll come up on the display. And we're running the 8K codec now, which is the enhanced audio. It's good bandwidth. As I mentioned, the text-to-speech. And some of the radios have got mobile phone capability, like this one here. You can actually ring that as a phone as well as call it on the POP network. All right, so we'll just go through them. This is the TA682. This is a really popular little guy. That's what he looks like. That's POC only. You can have RSMs or speaker microphones with it as well, just into the side there. It's got a big battery. We supply them with a charger. There is a multi-charger available for them as well. So you set it up to do your groups. It will also save audio on board. It's got a little memory. You can go back and listen to some of the messages, some of the audio messages that have been sent to it. That works on the one-to-one calling. That's not available for a group call. That's only one-to-one. So that's the 682. That's the 680. I don't have one of them here today, unfortunately, but it's basically similar to that, but it's got a UHF transceiver built into it as well. We supply them with 80 channels CB, but if you want to, you can put a private channel in there as well, providing it's below 480 megs. And it's analog as well. So yeah, but we've got DCS, CTCSS, all of those codes that we can run as well, just like a normal commercial radio, analog commercial radio. You can also set up some programmable receive channels in there. You can't transmit on them, but you can listen to them. That might be something that's useful for some customers. Now with the numeric keypad, you can make your 3-digit calls, individual calls to your fleet. It'll also display text messages, and you've got some selectable keys, charger as well. But the big advantage of that one is that, and what most people use it for, is they use the CB function as well as the POC function. So that's a real popular unit, that one. TA680. Any questions? This is the 430. That's the one I've got here. This one here, if you hold the button,
current user, mic 1.
Push it once, it tells you who you are, and then you hold it in.
Current group 1.
So that's a really nice little unit. That is Android. That's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And
So where was it that you were holding on? Get yourself
above.
Oh.
Current group 1.
So you can see on the front what group you're in, but if you're just sort of walking along, you just hold the button in, and if you just touch it, it tells you who you are.
Yeah.
Current user, mic 1.
So that's a really, really handy little radio, that one. That's the IP54. Big battery on it, 4 amp battery. And that'll do text to speech as well. So that's a nice and small. I haven't got one of these with me today, but that's basically just a sort of a cut down version. It's Android as well, but it's got no display, so you have to sit. What did he say? He probably heard us.
Squeezed it without an accident.
That's all
Just
right.
put my hand against it.
I'll just say. Thanks, Peter. Yeah, we just bumped the button. Thanks. So yeah, this one here. You can select the channel or the group that you want on the top, or it actually will just it'll tell you. There's an audio announced channels as well. So because there's no display, it's all done with audio, and again, text to speech. So you send it a text, it'll turn it into an audio message. They're good for people that just want a, rugged, basic unit. Real popular, those ones. Okay, now we're getting into the mobiles. This is the 990. It sort of looks a bit like this one. And the beauty of the 990 is it's got an accessory socket on there, so you can actually connect it up to another device, another radio. So it's got an I/O port as well. 12 and 24 volt operation. So if you've got a truck that's 24 volts, you don't have to worry about a DC to DC converter. Good, nice, loud speaker, front facing. And just a nice, real base, just a real popular mobile. These are supplied with puck antennas, which look like this. So that's got the GPS and the cellular antenna bay built into it.
That's right, okay. I've got that in the back.
Mm-hmm.
The LT and the...
That's it? Yeah. Actually, I'll go to the next one, because what you actually got there is this one. That's a 995.
That goes on the back of that.
That's for GPS.
That one there is actually it's got CB in it, a UHF as well.
UHF, yes.
So that's what the third connector on the back is, and that's another really popular unit. So again, there's two. The microphone has two buttons on it. The top button is for the POC, and the bottom button does the UHF. So that's how you select it from there. So that's that one. I'll just go back now. This is the 991. That's the unit I've got here. Purely POC only. It doesn't have an interface connector, an I/O connector. This is probably our most popular radio. It's nice and small. You can probably see it's a little bit, it's narrower than that one because it doesn't have the UHF as well. And again, with the keypad microphone, you can do individual calling. Really popular little unit. This is our TA1500. This is another Android device. This one here has got a touch screen and you can put apps into it. It doesn't have an awful lot of RAM, but so you need to be a little bit careful just what you're trying to run. I've got Google Maps in there, just a cut down version, and it seems to load it all right. But yeah, it doesn't have a huge amount of RAM, that one.
Why dual SIM there?
Yeah, that's for some customers want to have a if they're worried about going into areas where there's no Telstra coverage. Optus, they want Optus as well. The other thing is they might want to run their own phone as well. So you can have your own phone number and your and the POC identity. Not so popular. It's mainly just to give you the coverage if you go into areas that. Because Optus there are areas that Optus are actually better than Telstra. It does happen. So that's just.
the case. I thought Telstra is the master.
They're pretty good. But there are some areas we've had reports where Optus is better.
So you use for redundancy as well, I guess.
That's right. Yeah. Pop two in there, and it'll just switch across to the other one if it runs out of Telstra coverage. The Wi-Fi works like that too. I mean, it's just like your phone. You have it on Wi-Fi. You can set it up on your internal system, and as soon as you, probably not so much with the mobiles, but you can. It will automatically jump off Wi-Fi when the Wi-Fi signal drops out and go into your cellular. I've got all mine set up on my own home Wi-Fi, as well as the SIM card. So 12 and 24 again. Nice little radio, that. And then we've got this little guy. This is the M10, and this is for sort of compact installations if you don't have a lot of room. That'll do. That's an Android one as well, so that'll do Wi-Fi.
And this is still push-to-talk.
Yeah.
Even if it's on Wi-Fi, on Bluetooth, and.
Yeah, it still runs through the servers. Yeah, the ToooAir system.
Okay.
Yeah. We normally sell those with a speaker. It's loud, but we put a little 4-inch speaker. We'd offer that as well. Yeah.
I took a Rodney's Mini.
Get one.
So you can patch it into a PA?
PA system?
Yeah.
Ah.
Really nice.
I'd probably use a different one.
Speaker into it?
Yeah, absolutely. You just put it's just an extension speaker, so it'll just make it twice as loud as it is there. They're loud anyway. Yeah, they're pretty good, but we normally offer them with it's like $40 or something, a big a 4-inch speaker, and that'll blast you out of the cabin. So that's a really popular one, that one. Just sold a whole bunch of those to a concrete company. It doesn't have the keypad microphone though, so you generally you're just making one-to-one calls with that one. Sorry, not one-to-one. You're making group calls with it, not one-to-one. But for some people, that's what they want. They don't want the drivers calling each other. What you could have is the fleet with those, and you could have the office radio be one of these. So the office radio can call the individual people, but they make group calls to each other. The trouble with the mobiles doing one-to-one calls is you don't really know. No one really knows what's going on. If you're coordinating the whole thing, it's something that some operators don't want to give their drivers the capability, but it's there if you want to offer it. This is a body-worn camera, which I'll get and show you in a minute. This one here, it's so you can store video locally. You can stream it to the cloud, or you can actually stream it straight to the cloud from the device. So that's been a popular unit as well. That guy.
Does it see?
It will. I won't.
Start video record.
So it's recording now. You can see it recording. That's saving all of that locally. And then you push.
That's sort of like calls as well. Because it's really cool. You see them, they just have them kind of clicked on each other.
Yeah. So this one here, you can make a PTT call,
Okay, yeah.
and there's all your groups.
Yeah.
Or you can do a video record.
And I can see there's a live video streaming. You can actually do a video talk.
Well, it's yes. There's you can stream it to the cloud, so it's available there for the dispatcher to download later. You can also command this thing to go onto streaming from the dispatcher, and I'll show you that in a minute. So you can actually turn this camera on remotely. If you've got a security guard who's in trouble, maybe he hits the SOS, and then you can turn the camera on remotely and get the video. So. There we are. That screen disappears after about 30 seconds, so that it doesn't. It does a lot through that back screen. So we've spent a lot of time on that one, getting all the features up and running. It does an awful lot. It's a really places that like hospitals and security companies are interested in those ones. And there's your app for your phone. I don't know whether I mentioned, but you have a log on and a password, so you can actually use that on different devices. So you might have that running your dispatcher, and then what you can do later on is shut your dispatcher down, and you can use the same password and login on your phone. So you're only paying for one license. So maybe after hours you want to keep your radio going, keep your comms going when you're out of the office, not in front of your computer. You just log it in on your phone. That works really well. But again, to make it transmit, you've got to touch the glass. So you have to be probably not driving a car when you're doing it. Then we've got the Android products. I'll start with this little guy. This is the
TC500 has been successfully enter group. Be contact.
So that's the basic smartphone. They're reasonably popular. We've got a desk charger for them as well. It's got a camera. Just a little basic. I think it's running Android Go. Those ones. Quite a nice little unit. And then we've got. This is my own unit. This is the RG725. I use this as a phone, and it's got all my apps on it. It's got plenty of memory, and it works really well. So that's the 725. There's a desk charger available for it as well. So these are the sort of the smartphone offerings that we have. You'll notice they've all got push-to-talk buttons on the side, so they're dedicated for PTT over cellular. Got any questions? So I'm sharing that login with that one.
Oh, it's just
So you're fighting with.
open the Radio Pass website and it starts talking.
Yeah. So they're set up for POC operation, those ones. Right. Okay. So I'll go through the dispatch software with you now. That's a map that's had some geofences put into it. You can see there someone's set them up. And This is some of the enhancements we've made to the dispatcher. What we've done is we've sort of tied all of the capabilities into one package. This is your basic dispatcher. It gives you all of these capabilities, which we sort of touched on before. In addition, you can have a video option, and we've now got this new feature called Patrol, and what that is, that's it's like a routine that the guards would carry out as they're going about their rounds. They can either use GPS locations to check in to say they've been to a particular place. They can use Bluetooth, or they can use an NFC tag or RFID. They touch on the tag, and then that logs that they've been to that place during their patrols. So after that's all done, then you can have a report generated, which you can give to the customer, or they can provide the customer with proof of where they went, what time they went, and it's all laid out. So it's like and you can do it, daily, weekly. Give them a report. The other thing that we have, along with the outdoor mapping, which uses a GPS, we've got indoor mapping capabilities now using the iBeacons. There's one there, so that's got a little battery inside it, and he just fires out a code, which the devices pick up with a Bluetooth code. So you set them up. I've set that up. So that's location 1 and location 2. So I've just made them give different IDs, and the your radio, depending on which one it's closest to, will send that message out into our dispatcher. I'll show you that in a minute. So yeah, we've got a package now that you can keep standard, or you can upgrade to various other features. And it's all in one, which is the beauty of it all. Accessories, we've got leather cases, belt clips, earpieces, speaker mics. All of those things are available for our radios as well. And we've just, early next year, we're going to be providing a range of body-worn cameras without SIM cards. These are just internally saved video. We're supplying them with the 64 gig SD card. These ones here are popular for, we've brought these in for sort of like supermarkets and retail places. They just sort of clip, they're just a little badge style device. You can either plug a USB in, or you can Wi-Fi hotspot the images out of these devices. So that's the sort of the basic one, and then we've got the new one, the 8202. So he's an IP67 that's got a bit more waterproofing. That's more of a professional security guard style camera. It's got a very wide angle of vision. You can extend these ones up to 512, and he's got a bigger battery, so you'll easily get 10 hours continuous. That's at 1080 as well. So they're coming next year. Right, well that's that part of it. Have you got any questions? All right, what I might do is show you the dispatcher. All right, so we've got one guy this is the beacon test group, which I'll be demonstrating today. Effectively, you've got, these are all the different groups that you can talk on. We've got some Sydney ones there, Bondi office. I've been using this one because I'm going to show you the patrol side of things. So, where's all my radios? There they are.
Sorry.
That's right. I'll grab this and this.
Right.
No, that's fine. Okay. So this is the TA450 when I talk on it. Radio check, 1, 2, 3. So it comes up with the person that's calling. I wonder whether you can also find it on a map. So you go to view on a map, and it's still stuck on at my address. Obviously, you need a clear path to the satellite. So that's all good. I'll turn this guy on. This is my main unit. Oh, I'm just turning him on now, and this one here. Okay, this is the camera. See how he's stuck on Bondi office? You can set a default group for it to go to, but I don't want him to be on Bondi office. I can select it through the panel there, or I can just go right click, force to join. And now he's on my group that I want to test it on. So with the camera, I'll just, hang on. I'll just log this one in now. So it takes a little while to fire up this guy. So we log into ToooAir. And what you'll see Patrol 1. See how he's gone orange again? That's in the wrong group, so I'll pull him across. Okay. So now when I talk on these, test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Let's turn the volume up on one so you can hear it. Radio check, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so they're all on the same group now. Now with the camera, the TC500, I can actually, like I was saying, I can make that guy, I can turn the camera on remotely. So if you have a look, I've got some video coming through. So I've set that up remotely from the dispatcher. I can also turn that camera, it's got 2 cameras, this one, so I can turn that around. And then we've got the camera behind. And there's the one in front. So that's taking video and audio and saving it to the cloud. Now if I go, I can hop out of there. If I want to go to if I go to the data center and I go to Net Media, you'll see there's a whole bunch of files there saved into the cloud. If I want to, I can save them locally into the computer. They stay on the cloud for 6 months. Or I can play it here. So there's some video there. So there's a record of all your all the audio that you put through. The other thing you can do is you can go to the call logs, and I can go back and I can look at all of these. I can listen to the calls. The speaker's going through there, so I can't actually hear it here, but I can play it, or I can save the audio as an MP3 to the computer. So if you've got an incident that happens, as long as you sort of know when roughly it happened, you can go back and you can listen to it, and you've got a record of what happened. The other thing you can do is you can send a message. I'll just turn the volume up, hang on.
Received news from dispatch. Hello, hello.
So if you're driving in the car and you can't get to your phone, your dispatcher can actually send a message, tell you to come to the office, tell you whatever they want. They can send those messages through. All you do is you just click onto the radio that you want to send the message to, and then you send the message here. You can also send a photo. So you just go back to your, I don't know, your all your pictures, gallery. If I want to send that, I just send it as a picture. Oh, I haven't got any permissions on that one. And then it'll come up on the screen for your driver to see as well. The other things that it does is, these are all the features you can set up. There's your lone worker there, you can set that up. Stun, probably not advisable because it needs to go back to the factory. There's your videos. You can set the microphone on and you can view it on a map. This one here's got a the GPS has been upgraded, so now it's got us here at Spencer Street. So there you go, that's all working. So there's a fair bit of capability there. Now what I'll do, I'll just show you this first. So with the mapping, you can actually set it up to do the outdoor map using GPS, or you can set up an indoor map. And that's where these iBeacons come into play. I've just done a dummy map of the Warringal Mall in Heidelberg, and what happens is you set these circles here. You set these up as your iBeacons, and then as the unit travels around, so he's obviously closer to that one there. Oh, it's just jumping around a bit because there's one in here, and I think there's two over on the chair there. So that's how you set the map up, and then you add the iBeacons to it. Now with the iBeacons, you use a Bluetooth connection to them to set the power levels, so that you can manage the overlap. Obviously, at any one time, the radio is going to be seeing. Well, at the moment, he's seeing 3 iBeacons, so you can actually adjust the power on them so that it logs into the one that's nearest to it. There's a bit of a science to it, but that's how all of these systems are set up. Any questions? Yes.
So that's, sorry, just so I just understand that correctly, similar to the one for the outdoor, except like when your personnel goes from point to point, it just says, yeah, they were there at this time, etc., etc.
No, this is not the patrol side of it. This is just an indoor map. It's just an indoor map, real basic, just like your outdoor map.
Yep.
It's on the platform. So if you run out of coverage outdoors, then you can still see the people inside the wherever they are, like in the shopping centre.
It shows you the proximity
Yeah,
of the actual
yeah,
device
yeah.
to the beacon.
Yeah.
Along with you, right? So it's the proximity. Yeah, I get it.
So see how I'm jumping up and down?
Yeah, when you come within proximity.
Yeah. So it's just a way of keeping the tracking going when you've got no GPS.
Oh, I'm with you, right.
It's real basic, but that's useful for people that are outside and inside as well. You've got both those. Yeah. Yeah. Now, so for the actual the tracking, the reporting, this is the patrol side of things. So if I go to a patrol 2, you can see I've got some locations there. I've got some RFID tags set up. So this is location 1. If I touch this on here, it makes a buzz, and then I push this.
Check-in successfully. Patrol point. Location 1.
So that's 1. So 1 o'clock you've got to be at the door of the, I don't know, one of the hotels in town, and then 1:30 you've got to be at some factory somewhere.
Check-in successfully. Patrol point. Location 2. Check-in successfully. Patrol point. Location 3.
So you set these up wherever the guards are going to go. You screw them. There's a screw. You put a screw through the middle of it, and just attach it to the front gate. So that's a passive device. What happens is the radio itself sends a bit of energy into it, and that goes bing. That's who I am. A bit like your e-tags, I suppose. So that's one way of reporting on where you've been. The other way of doing it is I've got patrol set here. So I see how I've got GPS check-in and Bluetooth check-in. This is set to my home address, so
The patrol point is out of range.
because we are. I haven't put the radio parts location in, but it might get a Bluetooth. It might find one of those Bluetooths.
Please wait. Check-in successfully. Patrol point. BTLOC2.
Location 2. So that one of those is LOC2. So you can use it with Bluetooth as well. But the really good thing about all of this, and I've got it working now, is you can actually go to the patrol plan. I can go to my guy and I can check and see where he was, when he checked in, all of those locations, see how the Bluetooth has come up. Obviously my address can't come up because we're not here, but those three RFID tags I showed you, they've all come up. And then whenever you're ready, you can actually export that report and give it to your customers. So then that looks like this. Here we go. It's very, very in-depth. They've thought about this a lot. You've got all sorts of details, pie charts, locations. It's a very full, comprehensive report of all of the goings on. So, yeah. Obviously, you can strip it down a bit. You don't have to give them all of those pages if you don't want to, but
Customers love that gear.
yeah. So it's a full-blown guard patrol system, and that's enough for you to justify your guards going around the place. Don't forget too that you've also got, if your guards get into trouble, if they push the, I haven't shown you that yet. So that's that part. I'll just go back here and I'll show you the SOS. This one here's got a button on the top. So Patrol 1's got some issues. It's the microphone's live as well. So that stays, the microphone stays live for 30 seconds. And that's better. So that'll stay until you cancel it in each of the units. It also will tell you it's an SOS, so there's a record of the SOS as well. So there it is, 11:17, Patrol 1 SOS. So that's just a little bit of safety for the people as well. We've done a few SOSs. We did one with the camera before. So that's pretty much this are the features of the devices and the enhancements that we've had. So you see, we've got the video, which we've shown you before. We've got the Patrol. So just with the detail, you can go not clocked in, already clocked in. So you can see who's clocked in and who's clocked out. Patrol 1's clocked in and the other one that's on there not clocked in. There's all these other devices. So there you go. Pretty powerful capabilities there. Again, any questions?
The camera itself, can you record to the camera itself rather than to the camera?
Oh yes, I need to do that. I need to show you that. I didn't do that. So let's get the camera going. I'll just take a photo of my display.
Start video record.
I'll do a 10-second video. 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to stream it. If you want to go back to the depot. So that's finished. Sorry, you couldn't hear it very loud. Now I plug it into the cradle. It goes pop up. If I go here, see there, it's come up as a device. So I can go in there, I can look at it there, but we've also got this new software called Cam Manager. And what I can do with that is I can run it and I can select which files I want. See, there's AVI, videos. I've got them all selected. You can even have it clear the camera after it's downloaded it. I set that to not. So now what I do, if you have a look up here, you'll see that's the serial number of this camera. So it's going to make a folder with all the information from that camera. And that way, if you've got multiple cameras, you just go bang, 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 run this, and it will save each of the as the camera, as in the file named after the serial number of the camera. Anyway, so start collecting. Okay, there I do that. I'm just getting this to save it to the desktop. See how it's made a file there? And what I would do with that, I move that into the Cam Downloads. I'll go there. There's the latest Access 1122. Makes sense. And there's the footage. It also saves audio. I haven't done the audio files, but you can do an audio file or a picture. There's some pictures. Must have been when we were handing them around. So you can do pictures as well. So yes, you can save it on the device and just take it back to a central place to get the images downloaded. We've also got multi-bay chargers. There's an 8-bay charger dock, so which keeps everything nice and tidy. But the single docks will work as well. So that's sort of a new thing that's coming, but people want them. When we were at the security show, there was a lot of people who were asking for the cameras. A lot of people. And there are other companies doing it, but there's generally a license fee involved, and the cameras are quite a lot more expensive. Not all of them have the POC side of things as well. Right. Well, that's probably about as much as I've got for you. Is there anything else you need to know? You'd like to know?
So I take it you need an account with either Cellular or for these things to work.
Yes. Yes. We set you up with an account. Daniel's working on that now, the ins and outs of how to manage all of that. Essentially, you're our customer, so we would bill you every month, and then it's up to you to bill your customer every month.
So I believe we're in discussions about that now, aren't we?
Yeah.
In terms of what we can do with our internal system.
Yeah.
Eventually. All right.
All right then.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.